to further criminalise hate speech, to put stronger preventions in against hate speech. Last time the Liberals were in government, they argued to weaken our hate speech laws.
Yeah, we're not going to get into politics.
They want to criminalise hate speech. That's criminalising, and it's just a word, speech. Freedom of speech. If you don't like to hear something, don't hear it. If something's going down the street saying something, right, you don't charge them on what they're saying. You can charge them on interfering, right? Means they're stirring up things. You see, you don't need to charge them on their speech, do you, Emma? Right? They're doing something wrong, you can charge them in a different area, right? But you always got to have freedom of speech. As soon as you attack their speech, well, you're as being worse than them, aren't you, Emma? Yeah, because you're being a big bully and you're making others suffer. That's the biggest bully, is making others suffer because you're getting bullied or you'll have a problem, right? You shouldn't have to do that. It's a very small, rare case. But anyway, let's continue, everybody.
Proposal to the Parliament to weaken our hate speech laws. Well, this is important. This is what's going to make the big difference.
And you know what's important,
really,
Tanya?
on the streets.
And the thing that's affecting people on the streets is the hate that is being spread across this country. And people are sitting there saying there are explosives packed in a caravan, parked on the side of a road, enough to kill people. Should the head of our country have known about that fine?
Should the police be giving a running commentary on their...
Now at court, they would have said, just answer that question. If you don't want to give out too much information, you just answer that question. If you want to divert and cause other problems and other things, you speak more, right? But when you speak more, you expect to know what you need to speak about. But usually, you're best with the news people, if you don't want to speak so much or get things twisted, or with court, is you answer the question. True, Emma? Yeah. Anyway, let's play it again.
Investigations is the question.
I asked you that question, and I'm just wondering on your response to that. As a senior minister in this government, what do you think?
Absolutely. The police...
I think that the Prime Minister knows, and we do investigations, and I think if anything went wrong, we will let the public know as something has failed. I think I'll just answer your questions, and what do you have next? Yes, the Prime Minister knew.
And the security agencies work hand in hand with the Prime Minister and with the government at all times. What we don't do is give a running commentary about ongoing police investigations. The New South Wales Police made clear that the fact that this information...
So who's running their mouth about information and saying that running certain areas has caused a problem? Even just saying that would make a bad guy go, well, what do they say? Something must have been true. So you're best to say less. You know what I mean? So she needs to practice what she preaches, in my opinion, just there.
...was leaked, compromised their investigations. And now we've got other people saying, oh yeah, we should chitty-chat about it in public.
Because if you get compromised, you're technically meant to pretend the people who are doing the investigation that you have not been compromised. The last thing you need to do is to say that you have, and that some of the information out there is true and compromised.
It's not chitty-chatting.
What you do is you answer the questions basic, and you fix up the compromise behind the scenes.
They're catching criminals to keep people safe. Sure, absolutely. But this is the difference between the police working with the government and the police issuing a press release about what they're telling the government.
We're not talking about a press release. Do you think the Prime Minister should have been told about something so big?
Yes.
The Prime Minister works hand in hand with our Australian Federal Police.
So he did know.
They work hand in hand with... I'm not going to talk about it, Matt. That is the point. We don't give a running commentary.
You didn't have to talk about it. You just have to tell them, did he know or not? Because if you don't, they're going to go, well, what? He did know, he didn't know. You make people assume, right? Just like she's doing now, assuming that she needs to say all these things, otherwise it'll get worse. You know what I mean? And really, it just needs to be facts at certain times, be told, and then you can sort it out behind the scenes as well. But facts be told, and everyone will know. If you try to run around, well, it's just going to cause more people to speak.
About ongoing police investigations. What we do is change our laws, resource our police and our security agencies, take their advice and actually go after the people who are frightening Sydney-siders and Australians every day with this completely unacceptable behaviour. And when Peter Dutton was last in a position to do something about this,
what's the easy way out of things if you have control, if you use control for your main effort, right? So usually if you're a lazy person, right? You change the laws, it's very easy to do, which is controlling. Law changing should be very rare, but yet we hear it happen all the time. And it's a similar circumstances, and people who do that same thing would also use finances because it's their credit card, and constantly use it and get addicted of it and end up having debts. These people do exactly the same things. So what do we see?
He wanted to weaken hate speech laws. He voted in this parliament against criminalising doxing. He's got the opportunity, instead of just big-mouthing, to go into the parliament now and vote for stronger hate speech laws. Let's see if he does it.
Okay.
Let's see if he does it.
Barnaby, is Peter Dutton playing politics with this?
Now, I agree that we need stronger laws about hate, but no laws about hate speech and cutting off speech at all. Speech needs to stick around forever. It should be part of the Constitution, like bearing arms. If you can't speak, then you definitely can't bear arms, kind of thing, eh? That's the secondary. And yet, overseas, America believes the secondary is very important. So wouldn't the first one want to be important, which is freedom of speech?
Is this a normal process?
Sorry if I sound a little annoyed on that.
Police are investigating it. They've told the Premier of New South Wales he's kept it in his circle, and that's as far as it's gone. Is that fair?
Well, there's three parts of this. Number one, that was the biggest.
Worst case when it comes to freedom of speech on the internet, right, is that you can, if it's certain words and certain things, right, is that you can cut them off. That's all you do, is you just remove their page, right? That's as worse, as bad as it should get when it comes to freedom of speech, right? Like fuck, you know, we don't like to speak about fuck, and we put that as a bad word, right? You use fuck, and when the whole public can see it, you're not going to be shown, right?
Non-answer on breakfast television that I've overheard in the history of this program. Number two, it's quite obvious that the police trust Premier Minns more than they trust the Prime Minister of Australia. Number three is maybe, possibly, we wouldn't be going down.
Anyway, I've got to leave it there. When it comes to certain areas, like I said, it's connection, it's truth. If you never get truth by both sides, you're never going to solve connection for real. It'll just be one side dominating the other, or the constant tricks and games. That's one thing I say to people all the time, is when we speak about things, and definitely if we know about things, is you need to speak the truth. Otherwise, you're just going to have a lot of problems. Without the truth in all sectors, in definitely important sectors, you're going to get constant circle and problems. That's all there is to it. And to get truth, you need freedom of speech. See you later.